Little pigs, let me come in. Not by the hair on your chinny chin chin. Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in.
Hello YouTube, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm the Cardboard Blacksmith, and today I'm going to take this axe handle I got from Lowe's and make it into the Jack Torrence axe that you see in The Shining. Please enjoy. So the things you're going to need for this build is 2 cardboard cutouts of an axe head, the Lowe's axe handle that I mentioned, and some air dry clay, and some silver spray paint. You could use whatever kind of spray paint you want. I'm using this kind since it's like the most shiny looking. And before I even spray paint it silver, I'm going to try to spray paint it black to give it more of a silver touch, as I've seen in other videos. The one thing I should point out is that I just found an image on Google of an axe head and just traced it and made sure it's like 10 inches, so that way it's like the perfect size for my axe handle. It might look a little big, but it looks pretty good for me. Whatever you want to do, you can go ahead and do it. Okay, so the one thing I should also point out with this, it's going to be a tag difference from this one, because this one's fully air dry and this one's fully cardboard, like this one. So I'm thinking I might as well add cardboard and air dry clay for a tougher shell. That's why I say you should add some air dry clay. It's optional, but I do suggest it. Also, another thing to add is that I don't say you should glue the axe head onto it straight away before you paint it. You could do that if you want, but so that way I skip all the masking that I don't want to do. I'm just going to shape it. I'm going to use it to make sure I get the proper shape out of it, know exactly what I'm doing, so that way I can just simply slide it off and then just paint it later and then glue it on. So what I'm going to do here first is try to glue this part right here, and then before it officially dries, I'm going to sandwich them in between this, so that way it's not going to be flat and I don't risk splitting them apart and have to re-glue it all over again. So I'm going to do that right now. If I can, there we go. I'm going to do that right now, so that way you guys can see how I do it. Also gonna make sure it's very aligned. Careful not to burn yourself. Let's get rid of the unwanted hot glue strings or spider web. Just wait for that to dry a little bit. Just takes a split sec. Alright, this thing pretty much glued, or is done drying, which, like I said, just took a sec. So I'm just gonna quickly do this little spot. Make sure not to do too much, like I just did right there. Put that back on. Sandwich it shut. Give it a minute. Alright, so we got our good shape right there. It's got a good enough narrow angle for the top. So, to fill in the gaps here, I'm thinking about either putting cardboard there, gluing it, or maybe adding a bit of clay and then just paper mache over it, so that way you don't see it, and then adding air dry clay all over it, so that way you can sand it smooth, get rid of all this extra cardboard stuff, and then paint it black, then paint it silver. So I'm gonna start doing the air dry clay thing that I suggest to do. And I say to roll it out a little bit and just try to fill in the spot and make sure your axe handle is in here, so that way you have a single slot just to slide it out. Also, by the way, make sure to keep your hands wet, which is what I should probably do. So I'm gonna be right back. Alright, so what I did here was add a little bowl or anything that has a good amount of water to keep your hands wet. Make sure I don't spill it and ruin everything that's electronic. So that way I keep my hands wet and still keep recording to keep telling you what you need to do. It's gonna be a little while. So yeah, all you just need to do is make sure you put a good amount of air dry clay inside if you want. You can keep it hollow if you do want to do that. But I'm just gonna do this, so I'm just gonna time jump this. It's gonna be a little while. Alright, after a little while I did this. It's still drying. I want to be incredibly careful as I can. You can see that it looks a little blotchy still, if that's even a word. But that doesn't really matter because I'm going to be sanding it down. Also left a little hole here so that way I could keep my axe handle going in. So that way later I can glue it. And once this is all drying, I'm probably going to paper mache the rest or put more air dry clay on it. Alright, it's been a little while. I spray painted it black. I forgot to mention that I decided to go with paper mache instead of clay all over. That I should mention if you want to do. What I did was get some Elmer's glue and paper towel and just brush it along the side. Gives it like a very good texture if I zoom in up close. There's like some mist and paint spots on this thing, but it's still nothing that the silver spray paint can't do. And so I'm gonna try to paint it silver now. If there are still some black spots, like very small parts of blank spots that aren't officially painted over, it might be a good detail. But if you want this to be fully silver, you can go right on ahead. But this is how I do it. Hey everybody, as you can see, it's finally morning now, and it is officially painted silver. It's got some very good detail, and I really like how it came out. And now, today I'm gonna finally glue it onto the axe handle. Whatever kind of glue you want to do, you can go ahead and use that one. But I'm just going to use hot glue just for now. And if it ever falls off, I can just simply use crazy glue, Elmer's glue, tacky glue, any kind of glue you can think of. I want to get the top on it first. If there's no top opening on yours, but there's no top opening on mine, so there we go. And that seems like it's about it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm completely happy with how it came out. It looks incredibly amazing. It's very firm. And I think the metal texture, I did a pretty good job on it, but if you want it incredibly smooth, looking almost like the metal that you see on Jack Torrance's axe, you can go ahead and do the air dry clay thing with the sanding, but me, I got a little impatient and just did a different texture with some paper mache. But I like how it came out. Looks amazing, great. I highly suggest you try to do it yourself. And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below what you think I should do next. And see you on the next one.